Okay, family, back for part three. Brother Christian, we were talking during the break, and Cathy asked some real good clarifying questions. So he's going to explain to us about how it can be done, maybe in a more effective or more way that doesn't look like we're doing something different. So please, brother.
So the simplest thing I could advise right now is that rather than you buying, let's say, 100 acres, you go for 50, like you say. You have several homes there. And let's say someone you trust, like Caroline, can buy the next 50 acres next to you, and maybe a third person. And before you know it, you have a whole set of land between the three of you.
Okay.
That is workable. But the bad part would be if you have the whole three, they'll be like, so that's too big for yourself.
Yes, I understand.
Like that, it works better.
So that would then, of course, be considered a business. I'd be really doing
like
a land
on
business.
your own, it would be a business.
So we need to come. One of the things, family. Yeah. So let me just make sure we have clarity. What he's saying is, it's better for us to buy an initial parcel of land, say 50 acres, put some houses on it, allow people to buy some of those, but then the next person would buy another parcel of land, and they kind of do the same thing, and then maybe a third person buys another parcel of land, because what we're doing then is really creating community. I think the Zambian government and officials would understand that. If it was just one person purchasing all this land, that wouldn't go well. That's what he's trying to say.
That's the message I was trying to pass across.
That's good information. So that we don't make these too long and go too long. Is there anything else you want? Do you have any other questions that you can think of right now? Okay, so I just wanted to maybe start closing this down just a little bit.
I have a few questions.
Okay, well, come on in, Miss Carolyn, because we're trying to keep these at a time frame that makes sense. Okay, so Miss Carolyn's coming in, y'all.
Carolyn, yes, yeah.
Yes, Shell.
Yeah, my question is that I thought I heard you say that to get a 5-year residency visa, you have to be 55 years old. And what is the income you said that they have to have?
1,300 about.
Per person.
Per person.
A month.
Yes.
Um,
And if you don't have that,
then what?
are there?
It's up to consideration, really. Of course, there's a standard, but then they'll look at your profile, they'll look at the letter that you wrote, they'll look at where you worked. They'll basically analyze and say, no, actually, this is workable. Because the cost of living in Zambia is not that high. They just want to make sure you won't struggle as you arrive here, you'll be comfortable. So it's not a fixed amount to say, okay, if you don't have this, we don't want you. No.
Okay.
They just want to make sure you're okay. So it's up to consideration.
Very good.
And then I also heard you say about someone that have a residency permit can buy land.
Yes, very much so.
And so that's what I was curious about. And so traditional land is land that the chief owns, right?
Yes.
And that's the land that you said that once you buy that land, they could make it a permit land. So the chief can't take it away from you
No, you can't take it away from you.
after you.
Like, there is correct paperwork that guarantees the land belongs to you and stays with you. No one can claim it after you're done with your application and authorization of purchase.
So how do you go about looking at the land? Because I heard since I've been here, there are some people say some of the land is flooded. It floods. And so how do you go about looking at what happens to the land? Like you get here in July and the land flooded maybe 6 or 7 months ago. Do they have a record of show you
Which lands floods?
what
per se.
what's the category of the land?
Not per se. Of course, there are lands we can recommend. Let's say the way you want it to farm. We can recommend, let's say, land A, B, and C. If you want a different type of setup that you want to put there. There are so many different lands around the city. And flooding, it's not common in all areas. I think out of the entire city of Lusaka especially, we have less than 10% that gets flooded. So the rest of the 90% is perfectly all right. The few challenges that some areas have is rocks but that will be again a minimum of 20%. So most of the land, let's say 70 to 80%, is very valuable.
That's here in Lusaka. What about
In Lusaka and Zambia.
outside?
Outside Lusaka?
Yes.
Let's see, floods, not so much. In Zambia, we don't have much floods. The way the cities have been built, they've avoided high densities of water. So the water passes far enough but close enough to the city.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about things like floods or other catastrophes. We don't have much of that here in Zambia.
So if we were to choose to live, say, near Livingstone or something like that, could you still help us?
Yeah,
Or is it
naturally.
you only help people here in Lusaka?
No. It's all over Zambia. We are with you all over Zambia, so you
Okay.
do not have to
That's-
worry.
That's one other question I wanted to ask you. I know you said I wanted to know if I could talk to you about a little personal thing you spoke to me about.
Okay.
You
Is
said
it
that you
personal that you don't want to
no,
record?
No, he just said he just built a 3-bedroom house.
Oh, yes,
And
okay.
the land, what I want to talk to you, and also I want to talk to you about load
No problem.
sharing
Mhm,
on here
mhm.
too.
Oh, not a problem.
And the land that you purchased, is it land that we could purchase? Is it tribal land or is it title land?
It belongs to the state. Let me put it this way. The same way you are buying farms, a lot of Zambians have set up the same system. Let's say an area looks promising in the near future. They'll buy a big acre of that land, live there, reside there with family, and then 5 years down the line, there's more people around, so you can now sell your land at higher cost. So that's the type of situation we have. So we have land still owned by the state and others owned by Zambian citizens who will be willing to sell it to you as long as you have the requirement like the residence permit or employment permit and you qualify to buy such land.
Okay, now what I wanted to talk to you about is load sharing, because this whole town goes dark a few hours a day, every single day.
All right, so what she's talking about is a challenge we met with the drought that we had 2 years ago, pretty unprecedented. Before that drought, we used to have the period from December to January. We have what we call load shedding or load sharing. Is a system where for a few hours, different areas of the city will be told you won't have electricity during that period. That used to be a minimum of 3, 4, 5 hours, depending on the water levels. But then we hit a drought due to climate change. That took about 2 years or so. So we are still recovering from that. And
Because, excuse me, I'm sorry. As I understand it, a lot of the electricity is hydroelectric. Is that
Yes,
right? So
most
it's
of it.
water
most
coming
of
through a
it is
dam
water.
that supports the turbines and things like that that produce electricity. And he's saying because there was a drought for 2 years, they have more of a problem now. Isn't the water level coming back up?
Yes, it has come back up. I was in Livingstone at the Victoria Falls recently. I got drenched just passing next to it. Like, it's beautiful. I actually recommend you to visit. And that aside, every problem brings about solutions.
Yes.
So the state tried to reduce cost on importation of solar panels, and more and more people started to produce cooking gas. So basically, with let's say $1,500 to $2,000, you're able to set up a solar system in your household that will cover for the lights, the TV, the fridge, but for the cooking stove, we recommend gas, which is also very affordable here in Zambia.
So say that price again for the solar for the house.
Oh, for the solar for the house, it varies from $1,500 to $2,000, and you have electricity, let's say the lights covered, the TV, the refrigerator. But for the stove, you can have the stove if you want to. Like, it all depends on the number of appliances you want.
Yes.
But we recommend you to use the gas so that you don't drain all your solar
So
power.
one last question, and we can always meet again. In a week or
Definitely.
so. About how much does it cost to build a general 3-bedroom home?
A general 3-bedroom.
In American dollars, if you can tell us that.
Not a
please.
problem. So it depends from area to area. Where I am right now, it's $25,000 to $30,000
Okay.
to build a 3-bedroom house.
Are you outside of Lusaka or
No, I'm within Lusaka.
you're within
Yeah, it's the
Lusaka?
capital city. It's very big. I'm within Lusaka, so it's a beautiful area. It's a residential area, and the cost now varies because we have what we call premium areas, standard, and some low cost. But also, you were talking about acres of land, and such are bought mostly outside of town because of course town is already busy. So for those, the price goes a bit lower because when I say 25 to 30,000. That includes buying the land, raising the building, putting those electricity planting, and everything. So the more you go far, the more you reduce already the price that you
the
spend on
cost
land.
and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly.
Okay. All right.
So yeah.
Well, we have gone over our time for this session. We are so thankful to Brother Christian. If y'all would just give him a
Oh my
a hand
God.
clap
Thank you so
of,
much.
Thank you so
thanks
I appreciate
for his
it.
time. And we will be coming back. We'll be here another almost 2 weeks. And we will sign back on, as my father would say, signing off. So we'll talk to y'all real soon, okay? Shalom.
Sure.